Hello students, myself is Puneet from Prab Kirpa classes. Our today's topic is related to social responsibility. We have made a lot of progress in each and every field of life. New inventions are taking place each day to make our life more easy. Today, we are more aware of our rights than our responsibilities. In today's changing world, the one area which seems to be neglected by most of us is social responsibility. That is, our responsibility towards the society and the environment. The modern view is that a company must not only be profitable but should also contribute to the welfare of society and the environment. In this course, we will discuss what is social responsibility. Number two, what is corporate social responsibility? Number third, what are the four main types of corporate social responsibility? Fourth, whether CSR activities are mandatory for companies in India. Please elaborate. Fifth, what are the various benefits and limitations of corporate social responsibility? 6. CSR initiatives are criticized on various grounds. What are those?
Social responsibility is of two types. First is CSR. CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility. And the other type of social responsibility is individual social responsibility. Before proceeding further, we would like to make this concept of CSR clear with the help of few photographs. In this first picture, you can see that polluted water is coming out of some factory. This polluted water is causing a lot of pollution in the water bodies, which may be river or lake. In the second picture, you can see that air pollution is being caused by many factories. Do you think that this type of pollution, whether it is air pollution or water pollution, is beneficial for the mankind? No. This type of pollution, whether it is air pollution, water pollution, it is causing a lot of harm to not only the human beings, but it is also harmful for the animals and plants as well as the aquatic animals which are living in the sea or waters. Here you can see that the child labor is being employed in many factories. All these pictures show that the human nature is mainly motivated by the profit only. It is no longer concerned with the welfare of the mankind. In this picture, you can see that a large number of workers are working in a under the single roof. That is, the working conditions are not proper. Even if someone has some type of infection, all other persons will get infected, and there will be a lot of problem in the families of all those. So in the next picture, you will see that this is a news item appearing in some newspaper which says that adulterated ghee floods market. That is, some organizations or individuals are selling adulterated ghee in the market. Adulterated ghee is the ghee which is not made of milk, but it has the mixture of crushed bones, palm oil, animal fat, which is harmful for the society. From all these pictures, you can see that the ultimate motive of all these types of, whether it is pollution or child labor or working conditions are not proper or adulterated products are being flooded in the market, the main motive of some of the persons or organizations is only to earn profit. They do not care for the welfare of the society in any manner. You From the next picture, you can see that someone is driving the car. he has taken the cold drink and eaten some chips, and he has thrown off the empty bottle outside his car, and also the packet containing the chips has been thrown out. That is, all these types of waste material will ultimately result into a lot of garbage on the public, and it may also cause harm to any of the two-wheeler which may be coming on the road. You can also see that whenever there is a traffic jam, some persons like to place their hand only on the horn. There is also tendency on the part of some individuals that whenever they purchase some new car, they would like to make show off in the public. These types of noise pollution is also harmful for the general public, especially when we pass through a nearby a hospital. So from these pictures, you can see that in some areas we lack social responsibility. That is, we do not care for the society. We are only concerned with our own entertainment, with our only cleanliness in our car, or making show off in the public. So we do not care for the society welfare or for the environment. Here you can see that we are causing a lot of harm to the environment by creating waste, by not placing the waste at the proper place. We are also causing a lot of deforestation. We are not taking care of the plants and animals, which is ultimately proving harmful for the society and the environment.
Next, now let us understand what is the meaning of social responsibility. Social responsibility is a moral obligation on a company or an individual to take decisions or actions that are in the best interest of the society and environment as a whole. In other words, the organization or individual should see that its or his decisions or actions do not adversely affect the society and environment. Social responsibility deals with the basic idea of giving back to society and contributing to its betterment. In general, social responsibility is more effective when a company takes it on voluntarily instead of waiting for the government to require them to do so through regulation. So far as scope of social responsibility is concerned, its scope is very wide. It can take different forms. For example, people avoiding plastic uses is a simple and effective step towards protecting the environment. Switching to renewable energy sources is another way of implementing activities which benefits the society. The entity can work towards its growth and profitability, but parallelly it should work to uplift the whole society. It should carefully evaluate the impact of its action on society and the environment. As already told that social responsibility is of two types: corporate social responsibility and individual social responsibility. First, we will discuss what is corporate social responsibility. There is no clear-cut definition of what CSR comprises. Every company has different CSR objectives, though the main motive is the same. Social responsibility in business is commonly known as corporate social responsibility or CSR. Corporate social responsibility or CSR is defined as the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically, to contribute to economic development, and take actions or decisions which are in the best interest of the society and environment as a whole. Corporate social responsibility refers to the self imposed responsibility of companies to society in areas such as the environment, the economy, employee well being, and competition ethics. Corporate social responsibility means responsible corporate behavior. It is a kind of self regulation, discipline, and societal duty that every business and corporation should follow, irrespective of its field of operation. The law is not made for every situation, so the business should take social responsibilities. Businessmen should see if any type of activity is causing harm to society. The businesses should themselves take corrective steps rather than waiting for any government or social team to come and correct them. Evidence suggests that CSR adopted voluntarily by companies is more effective than CSR mandated by governments. Some people argue that government should not interfere in the activities of the business organizations, but government interference is often necessary if the company ignores its ethical standards and takes socially irresponsible actions, such as disregarding environmental regulations to increase profitability. Some businesses will adopt CSR policies and practices because of the ethical beliefs of senior management. For example, the CEO of outdoor apparel company Patagonia Incorporated argues that harming the environment is ethically objectionable. Now, a big question arises whether the companies can ignore CSR activities. These days, large companies cannot afford to ignore CSR. CSR initiatives may be performed by a business development or public relations department of an organization or may be a separate unit reporting to the CEO or the board of directors. Companies with CSR activities usually have a CSR manager or coordinator to manage CSR activities. Some employ CSR specialists. CSR should not be considered an expenditure but an investment for better long lasting gains. So far, we have discussed in detail the meaning of corporate social responsibility. Now, let us understand the meaning of individual social responsibility. Individual social responsibility is abbreviated as ISR, which means the responsibility at individual level to act in the manner which is in the interest of the society and environment as well. ISR includes volunteering time, donating money to charities and NGOs, and standing up for the issues which are in conflict with the environment or betterment of society. Now, we will discuss the different areas of corporate social responsibility. Number one, corporate social responsibility towards shareholders. The organization has to properly utilize resources so that value of capital investment is maximized. It has the responsibility to provide fair and regular return on investment in terms of dividend. The organization has the responsibility to provide regular and correct information of financial and other transactions to the shareholders. Number two, CSR towards customers. The organization has the responsibility to provide good quality products at reasonable price to the customers. It has to ensure that there is truthful advertising. Number third, CSR towards employees. The organization has a responsibility to provide fair wages and favorable working conditions to its employees. Further, the organization has to ensure that there is no discrimination between employees on the basis of gender. Gender equality means eradication of gender pay gap, similar training to all, strict company policies prohibiting sexual harassment and power abuse. Number four, CSR towards public. The company has the responsibility to take steps to control pollution and to take initiative for social welfare in the fields like education, health, etc. Next, CSR towards government. The organization has the responsibility to pay taxes, income tax, customs duty, etc. to the government honestly and regularly and to follow the government rules, regulations, and laws.
We may inform you that we have already uploaded many courses such as time management tips, how to manage stress, forms of business organizations, present tense, past tense, future tense, good communication skills are the key to success, DBMS, cybersecurity, most common mistakes in English grammar, and many other courses. You can see the same on YouTube, on our own website.
Four types of corporate social responsibility. Types of corporate social responsibility. There are mainly four types of corporate social responsibility: economic responsibility, environmental responsibility, ethical responsibility, philanthropic responsibility. We will discuss each type of responsibility one by one. Number one, economic responsibility. A company's first responsibility is economic responsibility. That is, a company has to be primarily concerned with generating profit. A company can think about being a good corporate organization, but first it has to be profitable. If the organization is loss making, it is quite possible that many units of the organization will be shut down and the employees will lose jobs. So, in a loss making situation, the company cannot think about taking care of social responsibilities.
Suppose the organization, the sales of the organization are increasing year by year, and its profit is also increasing year by year. This is the profit. These shows the sales. These are the years. Second quote. In this picture, you can see that the sales are increasing, profits are increasing year on year. So such type of organization which is continuously making profits, it can think that it should spend some money or make donations in the form of corporate social responsibility. But if the sales of the organization are continuously decreasing year by year, or its profits are also decreasing year on year, then such type of organization, when its own existence is at stake, then such type of organization cannot even think of discharging its social responsibility.
Number two, environmental responsibility. This type of responsibility refers to an organization's desire to conduct its business in an environmentally friendly way. Environmental responsibility initiatives are aimed at reducing air pollution, reducing water contamination, recycle waste materials wherever possible. Recycling is the process of converting waste materials into new materials and objects. Recyclable materials include many kinds of glass, paper, cardboard, plastic, tires, and batteries. Switching to renewable energy sources. Examples of renewable energy are solar energy and wind energy. Planting trees, donating to research that focuses on removing carbon from the atmosphere. Number third, ethical responsibility. Ethical responsibility of a business is concerned with the moral values and ethical beliefs of the organization. A business is said to be discharging its ethical responsibility in an effective manner if the organization is operating in a fair and ethical manner in relation to its employees, suppliers, investors, and surrounding community. Ethical responsibility covers the issues such as Gender equality, reasonable working hours, high minimum wages, correctly inform the customers about the raw materials used in the preparation of the product. Products are not harmful to the customer. If a company presents to the outside world that its products are very safe but uses harmful material in the manufacturing of the product, this can lead to the loss of a considerable customer base. Companies also have a responsibility towards the local residents. The business operation should not have a negative impact on the life of the residents, for example, noise, air, and water pollution. Many farms have processes to ensure that they are not purchasing products resulting from slavery or child labor. Philanthropic responsibility. It refers to a business's aim to work towards making the world and society a better place. Organizations driven by philanthropic responsibility often allocate a portion of their profits. They may donate to charities and non-profit organizations. Some organizations set up their own charitable trust to give back to the society. Philanthropic responsibility may take the following forms: donating profits to build schools in underprivileged locations, donation to set up hospitals, donation to an organization that provides food to the hungry, or rescuing people in war torn regions.
In this world, when many of us are busy in accumulating money and they are only concerned with making profits in each and every business they run. In this materialistic world, there are some other people or organizations who understand their philanthropic responsibility and donate most of their wealth and time towards the welfare of the public, towards the welfare of the society and environment. Some of the known names in the field of philanthropic responsibility are Jim Premji, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. The list is endless. Azim Premji is was the chairman of Wipro, an Indian enterprise which has its operations in many countries of the world. During COVID 19, when most of the businessmen were busy in making money through whatever means they could make, philanthropists like Azim Premji had donated more about rupees 20 crores per day towards the welfare of the society. You also know the name of philanthropist Bill Gates, who was the co-founder of Microsoft. You also know the name of philanthropist and known investor all over the world, Warren Buffett, who is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. They have donated most of their profits or wealth towards the welfare of the public. If such type of philanthropic activities are not carried out by the persons like them, the poverty level or the position of the poor people may have been more pity than today it is.
When we have talked about the four main types of corporate social responsibility, the concept will remain incomplete if we do not talk about legal responsibility. Legal responsibility means the responsibility which is prescribed by the law. It is the responsibility of each and every organization to obey the laws passed by the government. Legal responsibility can be related to labor law, environmental laws, etc. Rising importance of corporate social responsibility. Rising importance of CSR, or why is corporate social responsibility important? The concept of companies acting responsibly is not new. In the recent years, with the growing focus on environmentalism and questions of ethics, CSR has begun to take on a stronger meaning. In the modern world, there is rising use of internet and it has resulted into serious blow to the public image of those companies who behaved irresponsibly and their operational scandals and abuses were publicized on social networks. Big businesses committing to social and environmental causes can make a big difference. A 2019 survey suggested that 77% of consumers motivated to give their business to companies committed to make the world a better place. CSR can increase the market share, reduce systemic risk, and even retain employees. We have used the words systemic risk and let us understand its meaning before proceeding further. Systemic risk is the situation wherein the entire sector or industry stream gets affected and suffers even by the downturn or collapse of a single big entity in the sector or industry. A good example of this risk is the financial crisis of 2008 when the collapse of the Lehman Brothers company led to the financial crisis that affected many countries around the world. After going through the meaning of systemic risk, you can very well understand that if a company follows CSR initiatives, the image of the company in the eyes of general public is improved and it reduces the impact of financial crises faced by other organizations in the sector or industry. The incidents like the 2013 Tower building collapse pushed companies to consider the impacts of their operation on society and the environment. The 2013 Dhaka garment factory collapse, also known as the Tower building collapse, resulted into the death of more than 1,000 people and injury to approximately 2,500 people. This building collapse led to widespread discussions about corporate social responsibility across global supply chains. Then consumers from different countries spoke out against unsafe working conditions found in the factory building. And people had expressed their anger at retailers that did not have any connections to that specific building but are known to source from factories located in Bangladesh. Companies that operate globally but have their headquarters in a rich country should also extend social responsibility initiatives to the poor countries from where they do outsourcing.
In 2013, on 23rd April, there were cracks in the Sawar building. This building is located in Dhaka in Bangladesh. When the cracks appeared, the news was also flashed on the local news channel. The management of the factories had asked the workers to leave the building. In this was a building, 8-story building, in which there were certain shops and banks on the ground floors, and there were 5 garment factories in which more than 5,000 employees were working. Mostly the workers in the garment factories were female. When the management asked not to come up and leave the factories as there were cracks, then after that, on the same day, the owner of the building stated that the building is safe and asked the employees to come up for working on the next working day. On 24th April, the employees came up for working at about 8 a.m. shift. Then at about 9 a.m., the building collapsed within 2 minutes. It is reported that at the time of the collapse of the building, about 4,000, more than 4,000 workers, mostly the female, were working in these factories. This collapse of the building resulted into the death of more than 1,000 people, and about 2,500 workers were injured. The collapse of the building drew the attention of the public world over towards the poor working conditions of the employees in various factories all over the world, especially the Bangladesh. In this case, the factories were working for some foreign companies who were getting cloth manufactured from Bangladesh and were selling it in their own market like USA. So the public were very furious about the pure working conditions of those firms in those factories from where the products were being outsourced. That is, the people all over the world wanted that the foreign companies who outsource their products should also take care of the working conditions of the employees from where the products are being outsourced. So from this, the concept of corporate social responsibility also increased to gain importance in future.
On the other side, the horse meat scandal, a food industry scandal in parts of Europe, affected many food retailers, including Tesco, the largest retailer in the United Kingdom. The biggest food fraud of 21st century led to the withdrawal of tens of millions of burgers and beef products across Europe. Due to this food scandal, Tesco's market value dropped by 360 million euro, and it also led to the dismissal of the supplier's ABP Food Group. CSR plays a great role in making brand publicity. When people hear about CSR activities by a company, they naturally, without thinking, develop a positive feeling for the brand, and this helps the organization to expand and flourish.
This was a food scandal which is known as 2013 horse, horse meat scandal. This scandal was reported in many countries of Europe. It was reported that a certain food was advertised to contain beef. It was advertised that it was containing beef. It came to light that these food products were not containing beef, but they were also containing horse meat. That is, the undeclared horse meat was found present instead of beef. In some cases, it was the product was containing 100% horse meat. The main problem was not with the horse meat, but with the harmful ingredients in the food products. For example, it was quite possible that oats horse meat might have been supplied in place of beef. You may be knowing that horse meat, sports horse are treated with a painkiller, which is known as phenylbutazone, which is a painkiller. But this is not beneficial and not to be used in food animals. So when the people came to know that instead of beef, they were being provided with horse meat, and that horse meat could also be from some sports horse, which is being given a painkiller which is not suitable for the human beings. It gave the impression that the wrong type of raw materials or food is being supplied to the public and the advertised products are not being supplied. It adversely affected the brand image as well as the brand value of many companies like Tesco. And because of the this meat scandal, the all the companies which were involved in this food scandal, their market share has dropped sharply and they also suffered a lot in the market share.
Means of practicing social responsibility. Companies implement socially responsible practices in different ways. Number one, corporate philanthropy. Company donations to charity in the form of cash, goods, and services. Number two, community volunteering. Company organized volunteer activities, for example, sometimes an employee receives pay for pro bono work for the benefit of the community or NGOs. Pro bono publico, usually shortened to pro bono, is a Latin phrase for professional work undertaken voluntarily and without payment. Number third, donation to charity based on product sales. These donations are linked to the sale of goods, for example, by promising to donate a part of the profit per product sold to a good cause. Fourth, company funded advocacy campaigns. Fifth, steps to improve environment. Many companies have chosen to reduce their carbon footprint or reducing the use of non-recyclable materials, for example, plastic, holding tree planting events, taking substantial steps to clean up wastewater from their production facilities over and above what is required by law. 6. Improving working conditions and well being of employees. Other businesses choose to practice social responsibility simply by improving the working conditions and well being of employees. They may adopt initiatives such as providing adequate period for rest, reasonable working hours, minimum wages, providing fitness facilities, or discount housing to their employees. Seventh, company funded behavior change campaigns. All the above are forms of corporate social responsibility initiatives. Companies generally do not have a profit motive when participating in corporate philanthropy and community volunteering. On the other hand, the remaining corporate social initiatives can be examples of coarse marketing in which there is both a societal interest and profit motive. Examples of socially responsible corporations. Number one, the Coca-Cola Company contributes $1 million annually to many environmental, educational, and humanitarian organizations. Number two, Bose, the electronics manufacturer, runs several charitable foundations which are working in the area such as fight against drug abuse, improving medical care of poor people, refugee aid, disaster control, creating better educational opportunities. Number three, IKEA. In the recent years, it has taken steps to help bring light and renewable energy to refugee camps across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Fourth, a small example is from Apple Incorporated. The company removed the plastic wrap from the packaging of the iPhone 13 to reduce plastic usage. Ben and Jerry's are known world over for their ice cream flavors. Their corporate social responsibility initiatives include supporting sustainable agricultural practices, ethical treatment of dairy cows, and development of its employees. 6. Salesforce is an American cloud based software company. It has developed what it calls the 111 integrated corporate philanthropy model. The company dedicates 1% of its equity, 1% of its product, and 1% of employees' time back to the community. Sam Johnson and Johnson The Medical Device Corporation has spotted charity projects that provide clean water in those areas of the world with, where it is in short supply. It has made a firm commitment to move towards obtaining their energy needs from renewable energy sources such as wind power. CSR activities in India. In India, the concept of CSR is governed by Section 135 of the Companies Act. India is the first country in the world to make corporate social responsibility mandatory, following an amendment to the Companies Act 2013 in April 2014. Since the applicability of mandatory CSR provision in 2014, CSR spending by corporate India has increased significantly. The CSR activities are mandatory for following companies having net worth of rupees 500 crore or more, or having an annual turnover of rupees 1000 crores or more, or generating a net profit of rupees 5 crores or more. The rules in India require the companies to set up a CSR committee consisting of their board members, including at least one independent director. The Act encourages companies to spend 2% of their average net profit in the previous 3 years on CSR activities. Only CSR activities undertaken in India are to be taken into consideration. Activities meant exclusively for employees and their families will not qualify under CSR. ITC. ITC is providing infrastructural support to make schools exciting for village children. It assists farmers in converting wasteland to pulpwood plantations. Number two, Infosys. Infosys is actively involved in various community development programs through Infosys Foundation, to which it contributes up to 1% profit after tax every year. When the COVID 19 was making headlines, it spent hundreds of crores on COVID 19 humanitarian work. Number third, Tata Group. Tata Group in India carries out various CSR activities such as facilitation of child education, immunization, creation of awareness of AIDS, infrastructure development such as setting up hospitals, research centers, educational institutions, etc. Fourth, Amul. Amul has contributed to rural health and development through the Tribhuvandas Foundation. Fifth, Procter and Gamble. The Shiksha initiative of PNG has so far helped about 2.80 lakh underprivileged children to get access to their right to education. Six, Wipro. Wipro makes its contribution to education and upliftment through Wipro Care. So, we have mentioned the names of few socially responsible companies in India. It does not mean that the other companies in India are not acting in socially responsible manner. The names mentioned by us are only for illustration and the list is not an exhaustive one. Benefits of corporate social responsibility. Number one, attracts good candidates and increases employees' retention. Treating employees well with competitive pay and good benefits is seen as socially responsible behavior, and it attracts good candidates and reduces employee turnover. CSR activities have a positive impact on morale of the employees. Number two, improves company reputation. CSR projects taken up by companies attract a lot of media attention and coverage, which serve as a great promotional activity for the organization and help in building up their reputation as a socially charitable and environment friendly organization. Let us see, with the help of example, how the CSR initiatives are beneficial for the organization. Arla Foods, the fifth largest dairy company in the world, provided funds for children with cancer and donated ambulances to refugees in Lebanon. These types of CSR activities help the company in regaining most of the lost market share among many countries in the Middle East. Number third, makes your business attractive to investors. If your organization is continually participating in social initiatives, more investors are likely to support and become interested in your company. It ultimately results in the increase in the overall value of the organization. Fourth, increase in customer loyalty and advocacy. Consumers trust companies and buy products of socially responsible companies. As your loyal customers talk to people they know about your product and share positive reviews, they will bring more business your way. Fifth, gives company a competitive edge. CSR activities provide a company a competitive edge to stand out from the crowd. 6. Avoidance of government regulation. A CSR program can persuade governments and the public that a company takes health, social welfare, diversity, and the environment seriously, reducing the likelihood that company practices will be closely monitored. Seventh, long term interest of the organization. It is a matter of regret that many companies still follow a more capitalistic behavior and try to earn more and more at the cost of environmental damage and exploiting workers. Limitation of corporate social responsibility. Number one, burden on consumers. Social responsibilities like environment protection, pollution control, etc., are very costly in nature. If organizations opt for CSR, they always try to shift the burden on ultimate consumers. It is not reasonable to charge the customers in the name of social responsibilities. Number two, money required to implement. While large organizations can allocate a big budget for CSR initiative, it is not possible for small organizations to spend much on CSR. Smaller companies can use social media to share any social responsibility initiative with customers and general public. Large companies will have to hire extra employees to manage the CSR activities effectively. Third, excessive priority to CSR. CSR places company at a disadvantage against competitors when prioritizing CSR ahead of advancing a company's R&D. Fourth, increase in cost. Sometimes the cost of the products and services can increase, resulting in a competitive disadvantage. Fifth, CSR can affect short-term profit motives.
Now our topic is criticism of corporate social responsibility. The concept of corporate social responsibility is criticized on many grounds. First is to distract public attention. Some acts may initially appear to be selfless but may have ulterior motives. Industries such as tobacco or alcohol firms make products that damage their consumers or the environment. Such firms may engage in some philanthropic activities as those in other industries. Prisoner is an American neurologist. He had discovered a protein which is responsible for CJD disease. CJD disease is an unusual neurological disorder. And ultimately, the prisoner had won the 1997 Nobel Prize in Medicine. After winning the prize, the American neurologist prisoner thanked RJ Tobacco Company, RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company. Why prisoner thanked RJ Tobacco Company? Because RJ Tobacco Company had provided funds for the research of CJD disease. Now the critics say that RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company funded the CJD disease related project only to divert the public attention away from their harmful business practices. What are the harmful practices of RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company? As all of us know, that tobacco is used in cigarettes, and cigarettes are known to cause cancer. So ultimately, this company was involved in some manner which was causing cancer in human beings. So it is said that the CSR activities of the companies like RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company are only aimed to divert the public attention, and their main aim is not the welfare of the society or the environment. Now we take the second example of McDonald's Corporation. All of us are very well known with this corporation. It is an American fast food global chain restaurant. It has its operations in more than 100 countries. It serves about 7 crore customers daily with its hamburgers, burgers, French fries, milkshakes, and whatnot. It is said that McDonald Corporation associated itself with Ronald McDonald House Charities and other children's charities as CSR, while its meals have been accused of promising poor eating habits. In other words, we can say that critics say that it provided funds to various charitable organizations only to divert the attention of the public, because this corporation is being accused by the fact that the meals provided by this fast food restaurant chain is only causing poor eating habits, and it is harmful for the ultimate health of the general public. Some critics believe that such CSR programs are undertaken by companies to distract the public from the ethical questions posed by their core operations. Core operations mean that whatever are they providing to the public in the shape of food is not beneficial for them. What is our Ronald McDonald House Charities? It is an independent American non-food non-profit organization which is having the mission to improve the health and well-being of children. On one side, the McDonald Corporation is associating itself with those organizations who are concerned with the improving the health and well-being of children. And on the other side, its food is ultimately harming the habits, eating habits of the is according, and in other words, the food provided by the McDonald Corporation is not a good food which should be consumed by the general public. Now, this second point of criticism of corporate social responsible activities is that it distracts from public business economic role. Critics say that the cost it is the unrealistic expectation that the company should do CSR activities. Social responsibility defies the very point of being in business. That is the ultimate aim of any organization is to make profits and not to do social responsible activities. If a company performs CSR activities, it is an attempt to prevent the role of the government as a watchdog over powerful multinational companies. Other point is opposite of doing business. Opponents advocate that social responsibility is the opposite of doing business. Business and social responsibility are two polars that can never align together. So, social responsibility can never be a part of company's concern. Milton Friedman argues that each person should be free to spend his own money on social causes if he wishes. But the business owners should avoid a tax on consumers as the organization will raise the prices of their products to support business practices with social goals unrelated to profit. Next point of criticism is that CSR must be voluntary. Critics claim that effective CSR must be voluntary as mandatory social responsibility programs regulated by the government interferes with people's plans and preferences and distorts the allocation of resources. Another point of criticism is greenwashing. What is the meaning of greenwashing? When wrong information is provided by the organization so as to prove that it is very much concerned about, about the welfare of the society or environment, whereas on the other side it is not doing so. It is called greenwashing. In some cases, social responsibility initiatives have been used to improve a company's image even though no real change has been made. Some corporate responsibility efforts are mere public relations stunts with little positive impact on society. These words originated in 1960 when the hotel industry gave a blatant example of greenwashing. At that time, the hotels had put notices on their notice board that the customers should reuse the towels so as to save the environment. But the ultimate aim of that of all the hotels who had put up such notices was other. What was the aim? Their main aim was to gain more profits or to save the cost which they were incurring on washing the towels. It has been found that a firm is convicted under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act received more lenient fines if it had been seen to be actively engaging in comprehensive CR practices. It means that if a company does some corporate social responsibility initiatives, it improves its image not only in the eyes of the public but also in the eyes of the government. And if something wrong is done by the organization, then that organization which is already involved in CSR activities is given some relaxation in the name of CSR initiatives. Next point of criticism is that CSR activities are done just to increase profits. Companies are sometimes accused of driving their CSR efforts in the hope of a positive advertising effect and increasing profits, and not for moral motives. Critics therefore simply equate CSR with marketing. It may be quite possible that some organizations may not be having the corporate social responsibility as their aim, but they only use social media such as TV advertisements or print media advertisement to show to the general public that they are very much involved in CSR activities and they are very much concerned about the welfare of the society and environment. But their ultimate or hidden agenda is only to increase profits. Now, the next question arises whether corporate social responsibility is mandatory all over the world. The answer is no. CSR activities are not mandatory in most countries. A few countries around the world have enacted CSR laws to encourage positive corporate citizenship. That is, only in the few countries of the world, the corporate social responsibility is mandatory. As already told, CSR activities are mandatory in India for certain type of companies who fulfill certain criteria, and they have to spend 2% of the average profit earned by them in the past 3 years. Here, CSR is taken very seriously in India. In 2014, India became the first country in the world to have a mandatory CSR contribution legislation. However, in today's world, if the companies are reluctant to take up CSR activities, they might lose customers. Now, another important point or question is whether the scientists and engineers have any social responsibility towards the environment or saving the welfare of or working towards the welfare of the general public. Now we come to the answer. If scientists and engineers take pride in positive achievements of science and technology, whether they should also accept the responsibility for the negative consequences related to the use or abuse of scientific knowledge and technological innovations. It means when they are given credit for their innovations, whether they should also be criticized or they should also owe some social responsibility if any of their scientific invention is used, misabused, is abused. The scientists and engineers cannot predict how their newly generated knowledge and technological innovations may be abused or misused for destructive purposes. However, a scientist or engineer cannot escape responsibility for research and technological innovation that is morally dubious. Now, we will like to conclude this course. Social responsibility deals with the basic idea of giving back to society and contributing to its betterment. Corporate social responsibility means responsible corporate behavior. Corporate social responsibility initiatives may take different forms, but the main motive is the same: betterment of the society and environment. Law is not made for every situation. So, the business should take social responsibilities of their own. In the modern world, there is a rising use of internet and it has resulted into the serious blow to the public image of those companies who behaved irresponsibly towards the society and environment. Government interference is often necessary if the company ignores its ethical standards and takes socially irresponsible actions, such as disregarding environmental regulations to increase profitability. CSR can affect short term profits, but CSR should not be considered as an expenditure. Rather, CSR is an investment for better, long lasting gains. At the end, I would like only to say that we should take social responsibility seriously and take whatever steps we can take for the welfare of the general public or for the welfare of this environment. If you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.